Welcome back to Beyond the Comfort Zone Talking Shit with King-KAMBUF.
Great to be here.
You are here today because you need a roadmap, not another rumor. Today, we are not talking theory. We are drilling down into the cold, hard execution that you need to master the Amazon marketplace.
That's right.
Specifically, we're focusing on how you can stop wishing you could sell those big, national, super profitable brands.
Like Dial and Dove, the ones everyone wants.
Exactly. And start actually doing it, but with authorized authority.
Our mission today is it's laser focused and it's highly practical. We're essentially delivering a shortcut.
A shortcut. I like that.
Yeah. We've been provided with the entire step-by-step outreach toolkit. This was developed by Elmore W. Williams III, who you know globally as KING-KAMBUF of the KAMBUF Company.
And this thing is comprehensive.
It really is. It goes from the very first formal email you send all the way to the critical phone script you use to follow up. So we're unpacking this entire strategy.
And the goal is to give you a concrete, actionable plan that moves you from, just intending to sell to actually having that authorized reality.
And bypassing the months of trial and error that just sink most new sellers.
So the title of this whole deep dive is Step-by-Step Processes to Outreach and Develop Relationships with Distributors and Wholesalers to Establish Your Amazon Marketplace, presented by the KING-KAMBUF Company.
It's a mouthful, but it's precise.
It is, and I want to emphasize that last part.
Yeah.
This is about building a supply chain that's based on compliance.
Yes.
This isn't about finding some, one-time liquidation lot. It's about sustainability.
It's the only way. It's the only cornerstone for scalable e-commerce. You absolutely need documentation that Amazon respects, and that starts with doing the outreach the right way.
That methodical focus on compliance is just so fundamental, isn't it, for long-term survival in this marketplace?
Oh, absolutely. What I admire about KING-KAMBUF's material is that it forces you, the seller, to ask the right questions right away. It's not just about opening an account. It's about satisfying these really stringent, often overlapping requirements from both the brand owner—
the Henkels, the Unilevers of the world.
Right. And Amazon's, let's be honest, frequently opaque, ungating requirements.
So you're basically doing due diligence on your own supply chain before you even spend a dime on inventory.
Exactly.
And what you have in front of you, what we're unpacking, is a full arsenal. We're calling it the 6 pillars of the outreach kit. Let's just, lay out the architecture here of what we're about to explore.
Okay.
These 6 components, they really do represent the entire life cycle of this whole outreach process.
Okay, so first we have the formal email or letter template that's designed for the brand owners.
Yeah.
This is absolutely critical for getting that first initial authorization.
Got it. Pillar 1.
Second, there's a specific script that's designed for those really tricky authorized reseller website registration forms. You know the ones.
The ones that are designed to confuse you.
They can, yeah. Third is the broader, but still very strategic email template for wholesale distributors. This is your initial cold outreach. Fourth, a more focused email template that's tailored for those massive brand behemoths like Unilever Dove, who just require a different approach.
A completely different beast.
Completely. Fifth is a concise, really high-impact phone call script for your follow-up.
Okay.
And finally, number 6 are the essential best practice instructions. Basically, how to present yourself to avoid all those policy landmines that just derail so many promising Amazon businesses.
The beauty of having all 6 pillars is that it really recognizes the dual nature of this path to success. You have to simultaneously impress the brand owner with your professionalism and your commitment to their rules, while also getting that specific, irrefutable documentation.
The authorized invoices.
The authorized invoices that Amazon requires for that final ungating process. So let's just dive straight in. Phase 1, securing brand authorization. Okay, let's unpack this. The strategy here is crystal clear. You hit the brand owner first.
Go straight to the source.
Straight to the source. And in this example, we're looking at a specific blueprint designed for a huge player in personal care, Henkel, which owns Dial.
Right.
We are dissecting template, #1, and the very first thing that just jumps out at me is the formality of it all.
What's fascinating here is that immediate formality and clarity. It's designed to be taken seriously by a compliance department, not, some entry-level sales rep.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the subject line. Request for authorized reseller status and marketplace consent. The KING-KAMBUF Company. Dial products.
It's a masterclass in efficiency.
It is, because it tells the recipient Exactly what you want. Not just general permission to sell their stuff somewhere, but that crucial marketplace consent.
And that's the part that almost always trips up the uninitiated seller.
Every single time.
That distinction is just paramount, isn't it? This is where most sellers fail. They assume authorized reseller status covers them on Amazon, but legally, contractually, it almost never does.
Especially for these large CPG consumer packaged goods brands.
So why? Why do brand owners insist on separating general reseller status from that explicit marketplace consent?
It's rooted entirely in control and liability. I mean, think about it. When you sell on your own site, Henkel has basically zero exposure to Amazon's algorithms or their customer service failures or, listing degradation.
Right. It's your problem.
It's your problem, but the second you sell on Amazon, your actions reflect directly on the brand, on the world's largest search engine.
Ah, okay. That's the key.
Yeah. Separating that consent gives them the legal right to shut you down on Amazon if you violate MAP minimum advertised price or their quality standards without it affecting your ability to sell on your own website.
So by asking for both upfront, you're basically acknowledging their whole governance structure.
And that builds immediate trust. It shows you get it.
That makes perfect sense.
Oh.
Okay, and then the letterhead, the very top of the email. It's structured to give them an immediate snapshot of your business.
Yeah, you can't be a phantom company. That business snapshot is the first line of defense against non-serious inquiries, and it is entirely non-negotiable. You have to immediately show that you are a legitimate, formally incorporated entity.
So what does that mean exactly?
It means detailing your registered business name, the owner or contact person. Here it's Elmore W. Williams III, KING-KAMBUF. Your physical, verifiable business address, your active EIN tax ID, and the states where you hold a current resale certificate.
And if you send this outreach without those 6 points perfectly documented and ready to go as PDFs,
your request goes directly to the virtual shredder immediately.
Let's just dwell on those legal docs for a second. The EIN and the state resale certificate. Why are those such a critical verification checkpoint for a brand's compliance team?
Because it's proof. It proves financial legitimacy, and it proves tax compliance. The EIN shows you're a recognized legal entity with the IRS.
Okay.
The resale certificate demonstrates you're registered in your state to collect and remit sales tax, which defines you as a true retailer.
And brand owners are terrified of dealing with
unregistered cash-only operations that could be bringing in counterfeit or gray market goods. By providing these details, you're signaling, I am audited, I am traceable, and I follow the law.
It's an instant elevation in how professional you seem.
Instant.
And the strategy then pivots immediately to specifics. It lists an initial product focus. They zero in on the Dial Complete antibacterial Gold Bar Soap 8-pack. And they even give the exact UPC, 017-000-24042. Why is using that specific UPC code rather than just saying, I want to sell Dial soap? Why is that so powerful?
It's psychological and it's tactical. A seller who lists a specific UPC, like that one, suggests they've done meticulous research.
It's not a whim.
Not at all. It shows they know exactly what they want to sell. They probably identified a high demand, maybe low competition variation, and they are ready to execute on the logistics.
So it sends a message.
It sends the message that the KING-KAMBUF company is a focused, strategic retailer, not just someone who sent a mass email blast looking for a price list. It makes the brand owner feel like they're dealing with an adult in the room who actually understands product lines and inventory management.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the letter then promises full adherence to their policies, like minimum advertised price, MAP, and quality control.
Which is the compliance language brand owners are desperate to hear.
You're proving you're a retailer who respects their brand equity.
Precisely. Brand owners have two main fears when it comes to Amazon sellers. Brand degradation and price erosion.
Right.
Degradation comes from bad reviews, damaged product, terrible listings. Price erosion comes from sellers just undercutting the brand's established retail channels, the Walmarts and Targets. By committing to sourcing only from Henkel-approved distributors, maintaining product integrity, and sticking to MAP, you signal that you are a responsible partner in brand protection, not a threat to their business.
Let's focus on the crucial requests at the end of template #1. They are so direct. There's absolutely no room for ambiguity. This is really the payoff of the whole letter.
Yes, those three questions function as a compliance checklist. First, you ask to confirm the steps to become an official authorized seller. That's standard procedure.
Okay.
Second, how to get that explicit written consent for Amazon.com-NASH. We've already established why that is so critical. But that third question, That's the true insurance policy.
Which is asking for the crucial list of approved distributors, specifically the ones whose invoices will actually meet Amazon's criteria. That request feels a little aggressive. It almost feels like we're dictating terms, but it's the entire game, isn't it?
It is the ultimate insurance policy. Just think about the efficiency game here. If Henkel gives you that list, they're essentially endorsing those distributors.
They're giving you the map.
They're saying these companies are authorized to sell to marketplace resellers. This means their invoices are exponentially more likely to pass Amazon's really rigorous verification process for brand approval or ungating.
So that single piece of information saves the seller weeks, maybe even months of trial and error.
Absolutely. You avoid all those distributors who might offer great prices, but whose invoices are ultimately useless for compliance.
Okay, now, let's navigate a common administrative hurdle. The Henkel Reseller website registration form, which is covered in template #2.
The trap.
The trap. The source material makes it clear that Henkel has this form, but it's a procedural trap because it often only covers your own proprietary website, not marketplaces like Amazon. So how do we use the form without getting stuck in that website-only loop?
That's right. If you just fill out the form, great. You've secured authorization for your main site.com, but you still haven't gotten the written marketplace consent you need for Amazon.
So you're only halfway there.
Not even. The KING-KAMBUF strategy using this short script is to use the comments additional information box on that form to register your own site while simultaneously referencing the separate formal request for Amazon consent that you already sent using template #1.
So the script is a careful dance. It says, we plan to sell Dial products primarily through our own branded website, yourmainsite.com. Separately, we are requesting explicit written consent to sell Dial products on Amazon.com and would be grateful if your team could advise us on the proper process and authorize distributors for that channel.
It's all about maximizing efficiency and showing that you have a comprehensive understanding of their internal rules.
Yeah.
You show them, you read the fine print,
Right.
that you know the form doesn't cover Amazon,
Yeah.
and that you're proactively pursuing the correct authorized channels for it. You've addressed the basic procedural requirement, which is filling out the form, but you've immediately elevated the conversation to the strategic compliance need, which is Amazon consent.
Now, the Henkel approach works for companies that are willing to field these direct requests. But what happens when we're facing a colossal global partner like Unilever, the owner of Dove? Does the strategy have to change? Let's look at template #4.
This raises a really important question. I mean, how do you approach a giant like Unilever? They're just structured differently. They operate through these immense global supply chains and have formal vendor qualification systems, sometimes called USQS or something similar. So the tone of this outreach has to shift from, applying for a small reseller program to seeking a sophisticated alignment and partnership.
I noticed that language shift immediately. It focuses so heavily on alignment with Unilever's core principles: brand protection, responsible sourcing, ethical operations, quality control.
Exactly.
It's positioning the KMBUF company as a high-quality retail partner who respects their global brand image.
You're leading with shared values, not transactional intent. And because of that, the requests are slightly different because, let's be realistic, direct, rapid authorization might be highly unlikely from an initial outreach to a company of this scale. You have to play the long game.
So the email outlines 4 specific requests for Dove Unilever. And since we might not get direct authorization, we immediately pivot to the actionable alternative.
Right. We still ask about the formal process for authorized reseller status. We still ask for confirmation of third-party seals permission on Amazon. We ask for brand guidelines and MEP policies because we want to appear compliant. But the ultimate goal remains the same, which is requesting that detailed list of recognized authorized distributors.
So the big takeaway here is that being professional means understanding the corporate landscape you're dealing with. If direct authorization isn't immediately on the table, you immediately pivot to asking for the authorized distributor list.
That list is the crucial alternative path to compliance and to scale.
If Unilever responds and says, look, we don't authorize new third-party Amazon sellers directly, but these 4 master distributors are authorized to source our product, that is an immensely valuable, actionable piece of information you can use immediately in phase 2.
That's the win right there.
Okay, so once that initial outreach to the brand owner is done, and, regardless of whether that resulted in direct approval or just that list of authorized partners, you have to pivot.
Quickly and decisively, you move to phase 2, engaging the wholesale supply chain.
This is where we focus on template, #3. The focus shifts from brand governance, Henkel and Unilever, to the actual supply gatekeepers.
Companies like Medcare LLC, AJ Globals, Palletfly, HSD Wholesale, and others like them.
And again, the goal is simple, but it's very specific. Open a wholesale account that yields authorized distributor invoices.
And nothing less will do. The entire output of this phase has to be that unimpeachable Amazon-compliant invoice.
And once more, the subject line is clear, professional, and it's instantly categorized. New wholesale account request, the KING-KAMBUF company, personal care and soaps.
This just allows the recipient's compliance team to route it appropriately and efficiently. No messing around.
Now, in this communication, the KING-KAMBUF company explicitly presents itself as a growing retail business focused on personal care and home essentials, selling via their own website and Amazon Seller Central. I have to push back on this for a second. Isn't there a risk that by mentioning Amazon Seller Central right up front, we're going to get screened out by distributors who are, overly cautious or have contracts restricting them from selling to marketplace sellers? Why not just keep the Amazon channel quiet until later?
That's a critical point, and it's a calculated risk that's built into KING-KAMBUF's strategy.
Okay.
While it's true, some distributors will screen you out immediately, the strategic value of being honest here outweighs the risk of rejection for two main reasons.
What are they?
First, if they screened you out just for mentioning Amazon, they were never going to provide the authorized invoice you need anyway, so you've just saved yourself a lot of time.
Good point.
Second, and this is more important, by pairing the Amazon channel with a proprietary retail presence, you achieve a kind of strategic framing.
What does that strategic framing communicate to the distributor?
It communicates diversification and credibility.
Yes.
Selling on your own branded e-commerce site gives you credibility that pure Amazon sellers just don't have. It proves you're investing in your own brand identity, your own customer experience, your own intellectual property. The distributor sees you as an established retailer who uses Amazon as one of their channels, rather than some transient arbitrager whose entire existence depends on Amazon loopholes.
So this professional framing is essential for getting access to the upper-tier distributors.
Absolutely.
And again, I see they reiterate the specific product focus. Dial bar soaps, especially that 8-pack UPC 0170000000024 and Dove products. This repetition, it runs through all the templates.
It is intentional repetition for reinforcement. That specificity carries weight with a distributor who's probably getting hundreds of generic inquiries a day.
Right.
They see you as a serious buyer with market knowledge, not someone who just wants to see a 50-page line card and ask for a 5% discount on everything.
So specificity gets your request moved up the chain of command?
Usually, yeah. It gets you out of the hands of the entry-level sales reps and to someone who can make a decision.
Okay, so now we get to the crux of the distributor outreach. These 5 critical questions that separate the compliant seller from the casual buyer. We all know the first 3 are standard, right? New account application, line card catalog, and MOQs, minimum order quantities.
Those are the mechanics of opening any wholesale relationship. If a distributor can't answer those 3 basic questions, they probably aren't organized enough for your business anyway.
Yeah.
But the final 2 questions are where the strategic genius is. This is where you filter the reliable partners from the risky ones.
So question 4 asks specifically about their marketplace policies for Amazon, for Walmart, and their MAP policies.
And this is a professional courtesy and a compliance signal. By asking about their internal policies, you show the distributor that you care about protecting their downstream relationships with the brand owners. If the distributor is authorized by Henkel, they likely have strict rules they have to enforce. You're signaling that you're going to be an easy customer to manage because you already follow the rules.
It prevents misunderstandings and shows you understand the stakes of selling these big national brands.
It really does.
And then there's question number 5, the one we flagged earlier. Asking whether their invoices qualify as authorized distributor, invoices recognized by brand owners and by Amazon for brand approval or ungating. I still think asking this so directly feels risky. Shouldn't we, try to infer it based on their other answers?
I get the hesitation. I really do. But the KING-KAMBUF company's strategy is built on eliminating ambiguity, even if it risks an immediate no.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with Amazon's compliance team, you can't rely on inference. You need affirmation. You need proof.
So how do we defend the directness of that question? Why won't they just say no to avoid the liability and avoid dealing with an Amazon seller?
Because a serious, large-scale, authorized distributor who wants your business will understand why you're asking. And they will likely have a prepared answer. They might not use the word ungating. But they will confirm that they're an authorized supply chain partner for brand X and that their documentation is suitable for full retail transparency.
And if they hedge?
If the distributor hedges or says something like, "We sell closeouts, you can do whatever you want with the product," that is usually a soft no for brand compliance on Amazon. You need a partner who explicitly confirms their upstream authorization status. You're basically leveraging the fact that large distributors know the Amazon compliance stance intimately.
So effectively, you're not just buying soap. You're buying a compliance certificate that's attached to the invoice.
That's it, exactly.
And this single inquiry determines the utility of the entire partnership for your Amazon business, regardless of price or volume.
It is the ultimate filter. It saves you from placing a $5,000 order, getting stuck with non-compliant product, and then having Amazon reject your ungating application because the invoice lacks the necessary upstream legitimacy.
So if that distributor confirms they're fully authorized by the brand owner.
You have just reduced your compliance risk by about 80%.
We have established the content and the strategy of the emails. Now we really need to move into the tactical execution of communication.
Right. The call.
Template. #5 is the phone call script. This immediately confirms that just sending an email and hoping for the best is not enough.
Absolutely not. The source material emphasizes the necessity of a tight, professional script when you're calling brand owners or distributor sales lines. Remember, you're interrupting someone's workday,
Yeah.
usually a sales manager or an administrative assistant. You need to sound professional, informed, and efficient from the first second. Time is money, and sounding prepared differentiates you from the mass of casual inquiries they get all day.
Let's detail that introduction again. It's so concise. You start by clearly stating who you are. Hi, my name is Elmore Williams, and I'm the owner of the KING-KAMBUF company, an online retailer here in the U.S. We specialize in personal care and household essentials.
And immediately after that, you follow up with the core request and the crucial transfer question. You state you want to become an authorized reseller and ensure proper sourcing for your website and your Amazon store.
And the transfer question is dual-focused.
It is. Who is the best person to speak with about 1, opening a wholesale account, and 2, getting clarity on your policies for selling on Amazon and other online marketplaces?
That dual question is a stroke of genius. It immediately addresses the 2 different internal departments you might need, the sales or wholesale team and the compliance or legal team.
Exactly. It prevents the admin assistant from just shunting you off to a general info at email address.
Right.
It forces them to acknowledge the Amazon channel up front, and it directs the call to the appropriate internal decision maker. Then, once you're connected to the right person, the script advises you to immediately reinforce your product interest.
Mentioning the specific UPC again?
Always. And the commitment to compliance. We want to do everything compliantly, proper sourcing, authorized invoices, and following all your brand guidelines and MA policies.
And let's talk about the cadence of that call. When do you actually make it? The strategy recommends calling 2 to 3 business days after sending the initial email. Why not just wait a week?
Because a week's delay often buries your email deep in their inbox. A follow-up call 2 to 3 business days later demonstrates initiative and follow-through.
The timing is perfect.
It's timed perfectly. It's enough time for them to have read the email or for it to have been forwarded internally, but not enough time for them to have forgotten the specific subject line. It just confirms the email didn't go to spam and puts your name and your voice on the request.
And the close is critical. It has to end with a clear action item.
Oh, absolutely. Could you email me any account forms, links, or program details? My email is your email. I'll follow up with the paperwork and a formal introduction email as well.
So you've put the responsibility on them for the next action, sending the forms, while you promise immediate, proactive follow-up from your side.
You keep the momentum going.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. How you strategically frame your business changes the entire context of the conversation.
This is huge.
We need to look at Section D, how to present yourself. The required mindset is key. You lead as a professional retailer, not as an Amazon seller who's just focused on arbitrage.
That distinction is non-negotiable for success with these national brands. Brand owners, they despise the term arbitrage.
Why?
Because it implies market disruption, price degradation, and often sourcing from questionable liquidation channels. They want long-term, predictable partners who are going to enhance, not erode, their brand value.
So the source material provides these powerful, specific phrases to use. Instead of sounding like you're just hunting for a deal, you say things like, "We want to represent your brand properly on all our digital channels."
Or, We were focused on long-term partnerships, building a consistent purchase history. And the always important, we will strictly follow your MAP and brand presentation requirements.
And this works because you're addressing their core anxieties head-on.
Exactly. By leading with compliance and long-term partnership, you differentiate the KING-KAMBUF company immediately from the masses of anonymous Amazon sellers who are just trying to make a quick buck and then vanish.
You're speaking the sophisticated language of brand management and supply chain stability.
You are signaling that you are an asset, not a liability.
Which means, conversely, we have to look at Section F, what to avoid saying. Because one wrong phrase can end the relationship before you even get an email reply.
These are the critical mistakes that new sellers make all the time.
Look, if you lead the call with, "Hey, I'm here for Amazon arbitrage and I just need one case to get Amazon to open the gate," you've basically just painted a target on your back.
And handed them the rejection email template. It's an elegant dance toward partnership, not a smash-and-grab operation.
So let's detail the 3 deadly sins. First, don't overemphasize Amazon arbitrage or "I just want to get ungated."
That just confirms their worst fears about Amazon sellers being these transient, price-destroying entities. Use neutral, professional terms like e-commerce retail channels or our digital storefronts. Keep the focus on the product and your capacity to sell it responsibly.
Second, don't immediately ask for crazy low minimums or try to negotiate the price of that first order aggressively.
We're trying to open a relationship, not win a negotiation war. Asking for a deep discount on your first $500 order just makes you look small and unserious to a distributor who deals in pallet quantities.
You have to build trust first.
Discounts come after consistent, high-volume orders. You need to demonstrate capacity before you start demanding concessions.
And third, do not mention "I'm just getting started" or "I'm new to this."
Never, ever frame yourself as a beginner. Instead, you use the authorized alternative phrase provided. We're in the process of rapidly expanding our catalog of national brands.
It sounds so much better.
It sounds professional, ambitious, and established, rather than sounding new, risky, or small. It shifts the perception from a startup that needs hand-holding to an expanding enterprise that's ready for volume.
Okay, so all this brilliant outreach is completely wasted if you're not prepared for the inevitable request for documentation.
Yes.
Section A stresses strategic preparation. Before that first email is even sent, your digital file folder has to be complete and ready for instant submission.
This is just fundamental business hygiene. Brand owners and serious distributors, they often have automated systems that immediately send an auto-reply asking for specific documents. If you take 3 days to find your EIN, they've already lost interest.
So you need to have 4 essential documents ready to attach or upload instantly.
As clean PDFs, yes.
Let's list them again.
Your current business license, so your LLC or corporation formation documents, your EIN and your W-9 for tax purposes, your state resale certificate, which is critical because wholesalers require this for tax-exempt purchases, and that professional one-page about the KING-KAMBUF company PDF.
That one-page PDF is such an underutilized tool. It's not just a business card. It's like a pitch deck condensed into a single page. What exactly should be in KING-KAMBUF's story on that page to really impress a brand owner?
It needs to quickly establish your credibility and your volume potential. It should detail who you are, so KING-KAMBUF and Elmore Williams' experience. Maybe you mention years in e-commerce or specific logistics capabilities. What your core focus is, personal care and essentials, the channels you sell on your website plus Amazon, and most importantly, that commitment to policy compliance.
Can you include metrics?
Yeah, you can include soft metrics like projected annual sales in the personal care vertical, 6x, or dedicated warehouse space, X thousand square feet. It provides immediate, digestible proof of your concept and capacity.
Let's talk about the reality of the platform itself. Let's clarify the Amazon reality for big brands like Dove and Dial, as detailed in Section C. What are Amazon's compliance robots actually looking for?
Amazon requires specific, irrefutable evidence to allow you to sell in restricted categories or under these major brand protection mechanisms. The 2 required proofs are generally invoices from authorized wholesalers or brand owners, and sometimes explicit written brand authorization letters.
So if they ask for 3 invoices...
You give them 3 invoices. If they ask for an authorization letter, you must provide it. There's no negotiation.
Which brings us back to the absolute quality of the invoice itself. It has to be perfect.
It has to scream real wholesale business from top to bottom. This means case quantities, not individual units. It means a consistent purchase history, not a single one-off buy.
And the details have to match.
Absolutely critical. The business details on the invoice, the company name, the address, must exactly match the details registered on your Amazon Seller Central account.
What happens if there's a discrepancy, a misspelled name, a different address?
The automated system will reject it as non-compliant. And that forces you into a costly and time-consuming manual review process that you want to avoid at all costs. This adherence to detail is the key to getting that ungating approval quickly.
Once the outreach starts, organization is everything. Section E details the required tracking mechanism, a dedicated, meticulous spreadsheet. It has to be built and maintained daily.
This tracking sheet is the central nervous system of your entire operation. It prevents missed follow-ups and ensures that institutional knowledge remains intact. You have to know exactly who you contacted, when, and what they said.
The source material recommends columns including brand, company, contact name, email, phone, date contacted, status, did they respond, did they request a docs approved, rejected, and notes. This level of detail seems excessive, but I imagine it prevents critical errors.
It's not excessive at all. It is essential business management. Think of this tracking system as your relationship database. If you speak to Jim in sales and Sarah in compliance, you need those names logged. If your initial request for dial fails, but 6 months later you want to try again, you can review your notes and see exactly why you were rejected, which prevents you from making the same mistake twice.
And the follow-up rule is concrete, and it connects back to the script. Always call 2 to 3 business days after sending the email, referencing the communication you sent.
Like we discussed, email follow-up rates are terrible. A polite, timely phone call shows relentless initiative and confirms that the email didn't just get stuck in a spam filter or in a pile of general inquiries. It forces the recipient to move your request out of their backlog.
Finally, let's wrap this strategic session with the actionable timeline. The listener's immediate homework plan, outlined in Section G, the first 30 days execution plan.
This is the rubber meets the road moment.
It forces immediate, simultaneous action.
You have to activate all the channels at the same time.
Week 1 is all about maximum outreach saturation. It's the setup phase. First, fill out the Henkel website form. Second, send the template #1 email to Henkel Dial directly. Third, send template #3 to 3 to 5 initial distributors, Medcare, Palletfly, whoever you've researched. And fourth, send template #4 to Dove Unilever. Why this simultaneous approach? Hitting brand owners and the potential supply chains all at once.
Because the clock is ticking on your momentum, and you cannot predict which channel is going to yield results first. If Henkel doesn't respond for 2 weeks, you can't afford to just sit there and wait. By contacting distributors immediately, you might get an account open and place an order before the brand owner even replies to your email.
So the process is run in parallel.
Exactly. It maximizes the chance of you getting a compliant invoice in your hand within 30 days.
Okay. Week 2 then shifts to proactive follow-up and critical internal refinement.
Yes. Phone follow-up with all the non-responders. Submit any reseller forms you received immediately. And here's a crucial internal step that's often overlooked. You have to polish your own website product pages and your About page.
Why is that so important?
Because when brand compliance teams or serious distributors get your email, the very first thing they do is vet your business online. If you claim to be a serious, expanding retailer, your digital storefront has to reflect professionalism and legitimacy. A sloppy website is an instant rejection signal.
And then week 3 and 4 are dedicated to transactional execution.
That's right. You open any approved wholesale accounts and you immediately place small but real orders.
Meaning case-level quantities.
Case-level quantities that will generate a robust, credible invoice. Do not waste time placing tiny test orders for 1 unit. Those receipts are useless for Amazon ungating. You have to prove you are a serious customer who is committed to inventory movement.
And the final critical instruction for this 30-day blitz, keep every single invoice organized.
They are not just receipts for product. They are compliance certificates, they are ammunition for Amazon ungating, and they are proof of partnership for any future brand communication regarding sourcing verification. Treat them as the most valuable asset in your business.
So this deep dive has really fully exposed the strategic blueprint developed by KING-KAMBUF. The key takeaway for me is the absolute necessity of a dual mission, securing brand consent, especially for the marketplace, and simultaneously opening authorized wholesale accounts that provide compliant documentation.
And we've demonstrated the power of specificity, using that Dial APAC UPC and the power of professionalism, leading every interaction as a dedicated retailer who's committed to brand compliance, not some short-term flipper.
In the world of national brands, meticulous compliance is the long-term scalable growth driver.
It's the only way.
You now have the full outreach kit. The only thing left is execution and maintaining those meticulous, organized records. Go activate your 30-day plan.
And here's a final provocative thought for you to explore as you move into week 5 or 6. Considering the specific rule that Henkel requires separate written consent for marketplaces, what strategies could you leverage after placing your first compliant wholesale order with their authorized distributor? Perhaps you don't wait for Henkel to reply to your original email. Instead, you submit that first real compliant wholesale invoice to them as proactive proof of an active partnership, using that purchase history to secure that critical written agreement.
Food for thought. Leveraging partnership proof as a strategic accelerator. Thank you for joining us for this intensive deep dive on Beyond the Comfort Zone Talking Shit with King-KAMBUF. Now go execute.